Boba Fett coming to, inspect her body at the end. Hey fellow Force users, what is up? It's Ahsoka Channel fan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'm just going to be talking about some of the recent news surrounding The Mandalorian. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I would recommend it. It has one season out so far, and Dave Filoni also works on it as well. Jon Favreau is the creator, and it's interesting because he actually voiced Pre Vizsla in the Clone Wars, who was a Mandalorian. So now he went from voicing one to having his own show, The Mandalorian, so that's pretty cool. Try and go a bit easy on me because it's been a while since I have watched the original trilogy. I'm more of a prequel chick. That's kind of what I grew up with. So the Anakin Obi-Wan era is what I'm more familiar with. So it's possible I could be a little bit rusty that way. But feel free, to add anything in the comments. Correct me if anything. I'm super open to that. Star Wars is such a vast franchise with so much content that sometimes it's hard to know it all. So let's get right to it. It recently broke that Temuera Morrison, who played Jango Fett in the Star Wars movies and the clones, is going to be appearing as Boba Fett in the upcoming season of Mandalorian, season 2. It'll be nice to see like a familiar face. The first thing I thought of when I heard this news was, didn't he die? It's been a while since I've watched Return of the Jedi, but I'm pretty sure he fell into a pit, the Sarlacc pit, right? And so, yeah, that's the number one question I have. Will they actually address that when they bring him back in season 2 of Mandalorian? Will he talk about it, or will we see somehow how he escaped that? It kind of reminds me of Darth Maul, actually, because for sure at the end of Phantom Menace, like, he was dead. And he was believed to be dead, and then the Clone Wars kind of said, oh, psych, he's not dead, and they brought him back. So yeah, it should be cool to see him back in action. Boba Fett is obviously he's a villain, right? Notorious villain. And so will he be there to try and capture the child, Baby Yoda? Sorry, I'm so used to calling him Baby Yoda, me along with the rest of the internet. If so, who would have hired him to do it? There's been some speculation that it could be Moff Gideon, who was revealed to be the big villain in the season 1 finale of The Mandalorian. Or I'm wondering if it's someone higher up above him that we haven't seen yet. Someone like a Palpatine. We're not going to see Palpatine in this series, but someone like that maybe that hasn't been revealed to us. I don't know, maybe they could have hired him to capture the child. It should be interesting to see if Boba Fett and the Mandalorian do meet, which I'm sure they obviously do, otherwise why would he be in the series? Whether they're enemies or end up teaming up somehow. I mean, I guess that kind of depends on what his mission is. Like, if he's there to get the child, obviously they're going to be enemies because Mando is defending the child, right? But yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. Maybe they'll start off as enemies but then end up working together against a common enemy. Maybe he'll turn against Moff Gideon or something like that. There's also talk of Ahsoka and Sabine appearing in The Mandalorian as well, along with the possibility of Rex, which Dave actually teased in earlier artwork that he released to his social media. So that's a possibility that we could see Rex also. But if so, I'm just curious as to how they'll tie it in with Rebels or the rumored Rebels sequel series. And if so, will the series take place before The Mandalorian? Will it take place after, or even partially during? Kind of like how the final arc of the Clone Wars coincided with Revenge of the Sith. Is it possible that part of the animated series will kind of coincide with The Mandalorian and be happening in the same timeline? That's possible as well. But for sure, like, if Ahsoka is going to appear in The Mandalorian, and they were last seen together at the end of Rebels, her and Sabine, it would only make sense to bring Sabine along with Ahsoka. Will they cross paths with Boba Fett, or are they going to appear different episodes and have different stories altogether? Actually, if you check IMDb, it says that Temuera Morrison is in episode 2.1 along with Rosario Dawson. So that means Boba Fett and Ahsoka Tano are both in the first episode, or at least that's what that's implying. And that kind of makes me wonder, are we going to see them cross paths in that episode. I did hear that there's supposed to be an epic lightsaber fight. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm looking at the characters, and the only two characters I can think of that have lightsabers are Moff Gideon and Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka, obviously, she was an ex-Jedi, she has lightsabers, and then Moff Gideon at the end of season 1 had the dark saber. So I'm assuming that they have to clash blades at some point. And what that would also mean is if Ahsoka's in the first episode, then I feel like the epic lightsaber fight that we've been hearing about is supposedly going to happen would have to occur in that episode also. There's also a rumored Ahsoka spin-off series too, and so I'm curious as to where that will fit in the timeline. Yeah, overall, this is kind of just like a little bit of a speculation video. The news is pretty exciting. I'm excited to see how they're going to bring everything together and again, tie it into Rebels and set the groundwork for future spin-off series, right? Which is ultimately, I think, what the plan is. My only possible concern, I just hope that The Mandalorian doesn't turn into a show that relies too much on other characters in order to gain viewers that way. I find that was one of the problems with the sequel trilogy, with Rey and Kylo Ren, is that they relied so heavily on past villains like Darth Vader and then Palpatine in the end, that it kind of seemed like they didn't really have enough of those characters to stand on their own, if that makes sense. Like they had Snoke, and then by the next movie, like they killed him off without giving us really any backstory, just to bring back Palpatine to kill him off again. They, can definitely, have these characters appear for sure and set the groundwork for other spin-off series. I think that's a great idea, but I just hope that the show doesn't turn into a show that relies too much on bringing other characters in, because then I don't think it'll necessarily give the current characters that we know the chance to get the development that they deserve. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below, guys. What are your theories as to how Boba Fett will make his great return? How do you feel about Temuera Morrison, seeing him again? I think it's been a while. I don't think we've seen him since Revenge of the Sith, right? In live action. And yeah, how do you think they're going to bring in characters like Ahsoka and Sabine? Do they have an interest in the child somehow? Is maybe Ahsoka interested in the child? Are we going to maybe see that unfold somehow? Another big question is Fennec Shand. She was a bounty hunter in season 1 for 1 episode. Is she still alive? Is it possible that she survived? I mean, Star Wars is kind of known for bringing back characters from the dead. Palpatine, Darth Maul, and now apparently Boba Fett. So I don't think it'd be too far out of the realm of possibility. I would actually like to see that. I thought she was a great character. It's kind of a shame that they killed her off so quickly. There was that kind of teaser at the end of that episode. A lot of people thought that was Boba Fett coming to inspect her body at the end, after she's presumed to be dead. I think that was actually supposed to be Moff Gideon though, but a lot of people have their theories that it was Boba Fett. We didn't actually see the character shown. It was kind of mysterious that way. Do you think we could see her and Boba Fett team up and work together? Is it possible that we're going to see an appearance from Ezra or Thrawn even, or maybe they'll be mentioned about? There's so much to speculate with this. I'm really just excited to see how it all comes together. And lastly, if we do see a Mando Boba Fett showdown, who do you think would win? Let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I will do the same back, and I will respond to the comments. And I'm planning more videos regarding the news of The Mandalorian. I'm probably gonna rewatch the first season as well, just to kind of brush up a bit, because it's been a while since I've watched it. And I'll also be doing a look back at the Clone Wars season 7 as well, because there are some things I've had a little bit of time to reflect on that I think could have maybe been done a bit differently. So stay tuned for those. I'll be making those in the coming weeks. And yeah, as always, guys, I love hearing from you. So please leave a comment for me. And until next time, guys, take care.